all the acts of his power and might, and the full account of the high honor of Mordecai, to which the king advanced him, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Medes and Persia? For Mordecai the Jew was second in the rank to King Ahasuerus, and he was great among the Jews and popular with the multitude of his brothers, for he sought the welfare of his people and spoke peace to all his people. It is Wednesday, the 20th day of September 2023, and it's time to quiet our hearts, steady our minds, and take in and read alongside of me our devotional thought for today, which is coming from the devotional book Truth for Life by pastor and author Alistair Begg. And today's devotional thought is entitled, A Mind for Others. That's A Mind for Others. And the verses today, Esther chapter 10, verses 2 and 3, and it reads, All the acts of his power and might, and the full account of the high honor of Mordecai, to which the king advanced him, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Medes and Persia? For Mordecai the Jew was second in the rank to King Ahasuerus, and he was great among the Jews and popular with the multitude of his brothers, for he sought the welfare of his people and spoke peace to all his people. That's Esther chapter 10, verses 2 and 3. Alistair Begg writes, Occasionally in the course of history, a single person has risen without whose presence everything would be different. One such man was Winston Churchill, the former British Prime Minister, statesman and defender of freedom. No student of history is able honestly to disavow that the history of the Second World War and its consequences would have been radically different if Churchill had not stepped forward. Though often the tides of history seem to flow inexorably or regardless of the actions of any one person, you will be able to think of those in your own nation and society who have diverted history's course in a decisive way. Back in the 5th century BC, Mordecai was one of such individual. The events of his life was recorded in the Chronicles of Medes and Persia. If he had not arisen, things would have been markedly different. Mordecai wasn't a Persian. He was a Jew and lived as a Jew, honoring a different God, the only true God, living in a different way and keeping different traditions than the Persians. Even so, though he was so obviously different, he was honored by the Persians not because he spoke out of both sides of his mouth or sought to curry favor with King Ahasuerus, but because of his absolute integrity and moral consistency. Mordecai didn't set out to be liked. He set out to do what was right, what God had given him to do. When someone is given a position of significant influence, they often become unpopular because others are jealous. Mordecai's lasting popularity with his fellow Jews was uncommon. It may have been in part because Mordecai cared about them. He did not become isolated from or disinterested in his people, but instead used his position for the welfare of others rather than the enrichment of himself, and to speak peace of all his people. As one commentator sums it up, Mordecai's lasting legacy is that he combined service to the king with service to his people without compromising on either account. He serves both and speaks up for both, desiring for both their good and their peace. Learn from Mordecai. Aim to do what is right, what God has given you to do, in the place and the time He has assigned for you. Like Mordecai, let your legacy be one which people recognize that because you have a mind for God, you have a mind for others, doing all you can to bring them rest, welfare, peace, and prosperity. Your deeds may or may not make it into the history books of this world, but they will be recorded and celebrated in eternity. And isn't that what really matters? having our lives recorded in eternity because of the things that we've done to perhaps touch a life for Christ, even today. May God grant each one of us a mind for others, that today we would look out for others above ourselves and seek to bless them and seek to put them in a position that will benefit them. That pleases the Lord, and you know what? It will bless us. Well, that's our devotional thought for this 20th day of September 2023, A Mind for Others, and it's coming from the devotional book Truth for Life by pastor and author Alistair Begg. And Pastor Alistair Begg has designated several chapters of the Bible each day, and as you read through these, you would have gone through the entire Bible in 1 year. And today's chapters are Ezekiel chapter 1 and 2, and John's Gospel chapter 8, verses 30 through 59. Clive Walsh here, asking God's richest blessings upon you and your family. Have a great day.